Roll up, ladies and gentlemen, to the greatest podcast on earth. Step right up and experience the magnificence that is the Two-Ring Circus podcast. You'll gasp, you'll laugh, and you'll be amazed at what comes next.
Amazing.
Don't worry about the smell. It's just the stars of our show, Tom Italiano
Oh, it's me. Hi.
and Matt Bradshaw.
Oh, Tim, g'day.
Welcome!
I shaved my face today.
So I shaved my face up.
Take 2, episode 104. Turing Circus, Matt Bradshaw, Dom Italiano.
Oh, Tim, hi. I shaved my face also.
Yeah. I think we're in a time these days when I shaved does kind of need to be specified.
What?
Yeah, specified.
What?
Gotta unplug that.
Why?
Because it was making sounds.
Was it?
Yeah. Not anymore.
Was it?
Yeah, it was feedbacking. Yes. Yes. I'm trying to predict what you're about to ask.
But
Yeah. We don't know. I don't know what that is. What's that mean?
so what's going on?
It rained a lot today.
Jesus Christ. So that's what's gosh Christ.
Yeah.
That's what's happened. We're 104 episodes in and now all we've got to talk about is the fucking weather. Is that right?
No.
Have you become that guy?
I wasn't talking about the weather. I was talking about how dangerous it was for me to drive home from Melbourne today.
Why were you in Melbourne today? You're in Melbourne now.
I had to come up to Melbourne and do talking about things with people, about stuff. Secret business.
Stupid men's business.
No.
Excellent.
Other business.
all right. First rule of Fight Club.
Well,
Fucking
actually,
whatever.
possibly. I was the only men's involved. So, yeah, probably stupid men's business then.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well done.
There are plenty of people who refer to me as stupid men's.
Men's is the company that makes Crown Mints
Really?
and fruit chocks
Ah.
in Adelaide.
Isn't it all also referred to, ladies' cycle?
No.
Ah.
What? Have you
Men's?
have you heard it abbreviated to that?
Yeah, well, I abbreviate everything. You know that. I don't have to hear it abbreviated to hear it abbreviated.
Yeah, but you said, and I want to go back and check now, but we can't. Isn't that what people say?
People say. I think people say that.
I don't know.
People say all kinds of stuff. It's possible, mate.
I'm going to wind the window down a bit.
Yeah, it's hot. It's warm in here. Oh, look at all the lights go out. Baby, when the lights are back on. Nice. And that was fun, our gig we did for the 130th birthday the other day, and I got to sing some NSYNC in the middle of a song.
Yeah, so, that always annoys me when you do that. What?
Do you hate it?
No.
Because sometimes when I be silly at a gig and you laugh,
Excuse me.
and I know that you're the consummate performer and professional, and so there is potential for some of those times when I'm not really being funny in your eyes, and you're just putting on a show for everyone.
We each do that for each other, don't we?
No, I never do that to you. No, you're just lucky that you're often funny.
Lucky.
Yeah, sometimes.
Or, it's lucky for everyone.
Actually, I'm lucky that you're often funny because then I don't have to act very much. But just checking.
We're not in a position where you can do that gig permanently, are we?
As in start at 4:30.
Yeah.
No.
No. Okay, so it's pointless me really pushing to try to get the duo in there all the time, isn't it?
Well, it seems it's reasonable for you to go back to them and say, "This is a really terrible time to do a gig."
It's
Like,
not a really terrible time.
It's a terrible
to do a
time.
gig.
4:30 to 7:30 means it's really hard to do a late gig and really hard to
It's
do an
really
early gig.
easy to do a late gig.
Oh, okay.
And it's really easy to do an early gig. I do a 12 till 3. I do
Well,
a
that's way
4:30
too.
to
Well,
7:30.
you're silly.
And
You
then
should not be singing on a Sunday at 12 p.m.
Well, I don't do it every week.
I object.
I do it sporadically, and I only give him availabilities where I know I'm going to be in bed before 4 o'clock the previous morning.
Well, even that's just madness.
Which bit?
the fact that that's your caveat, I'm gonna be in bed before 4 o'clock. That's 8 hours later you'll be singing.
No, that's what I mean. The nights where I know I'm not going to get to bed until 4 o'clock, I don't give an availability for the Sunday afternoon gig.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
No, it's not. I have to leave
I have
home
trouble
at 10 o'clock in the morning.
I have trouble even starting at 2:30 as far as singing at 2:30.
I have to pace myself on the big gig weekends. Yeah, like, so 2 weekends ago, I did. You right?
Yeah, I'm just.
What
I
happened?
have to turn my head back to see you. Yeah, move forward.
No. You moved back.
I can't move back. You've got shit in your car. I'm certainly nowhere near as much shit as I've got in my car. You've actually. What I mean by you've got shit in your car is like you've got stuff that, you know, you remove and put back in, remove and put back in.
And you live in the country. You've actually got shit
I
in your
live
car.
in the car.
Like a couple of weekends ago where I had the 2 band gigs, the 2 4-set band gigs. Yeah, they're on top of gigs. On top of gigs during the day and stuff as well. So they're big, they're hard.
Yeah.
Big and hard.
Cool.
Yeah, that's named my new duo. It's doing
What about 6 o'clock?
5:30 to 8 o'clock on a Sunday. The Duda Gala.
I could do 5:30.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do 5:30 because I could do 5:30. I could go back and pack up. But I got there at about 26 past and then had to find a park somewhere, and it's actually very hard to find a park around there unless you've got a ute. But even at that time...
there's a loading zone out the front, but that usually is now being taken up by just whatever randoms happen to park there. But I shouted at someone who had just parked there when I pulled up on Sunday. And
There's
just
a
pointed at the
permanent
sign
loading
and said,
zone.
"Hey, loading zone." And it's like, and he went, "Okay," and pulled out.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I left my car there for 5 hours. I'm a jerk.
Funny. But, you know...
I did have to load.
Well, that's what you pay the extra money on the toll road
Oh,
for.
don't even. God damn this place of hell-naciousness.
Oh, yeah. Don't
Yeah.
get me talking about stamp duty.
It's got anything to do with... Yeah, stamp duty.
Schmap duty.
It's rude.
It's...
I mean, you know, listen to us too. These are terrible problems to have. Having to pay stamp duty on buying a house. I mean, they are terrible problems to have, but, you know.
Well, yeah.
But only if you're buying a house. Only if you're lucky enough to be able to buy a house.
Lucky.
Don't you think? Don't you think? Look at us in comparison to the world. Lucky dude.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the word lucky, but but yeah, it certainly is a better position to be in than to never be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? So, jokes aside though, what's your objection to the word lucky in that?
It's like, you know, we're about to go to the casino and people get lucky there, and luck is a different type of...
Sure.
I mean, there's luck and there's luck.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. Okay. In that context, I mean, that's why I've stopped saying I'm lucky to be able to do what I do. I'd say I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's...
Because that's the work plus opportunity plus preparedness equals success. I made that up. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, it is... We are fortunate in a sense of, and we appreciate that we get to do what we do, but, I can count the amount of people I know who, on one hand, that I know who decided not to go to the parties when they were 14, 15 and 16 to stay at home to learn how to play, to practice.
Sure.
Like, there's that thing of like, well, does that mean I'm lucky? Or...
Yeah.
Or am I lucky to have that?
You're absolutely right. There's an ambiguity to in the way people use the word lucky that I just fell victim to.
You make those choices to go, well, and it's, I know.
Fucking sorry.
I know people who are really lucky. When I was at music school, for example, who I was the only person in my year that paid their own school fees. like
Yeah, right.
like the upfront fees that you had to pay in order to do the course when I did my course. It was like everyone else kind of got helped or given their school fees. Now, are they lucky that there's a part of me that goes, actually, I feel like I got more out of it because, in a sense, I really earned it.
Yeah.
But then again, and also, out of most of those people, I'm one of the few people that's still a musician. Like a musician who plays for money often.
Your Highness.
No, as opposed to someone who still plays or teaches full time or, you know.
Or is a psychologist during the day. And
There's a will, there's a way, my friend. That's really what this conversation is all about. And so, it's actually very difficult to really kind of work out your position on your own life in that sense of how do you assess. Look at me.
Pontificating?
Well, you know,
gesticulating.
So criticizing the words out of my mouth.
I'm going to Greece soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be breaking Play-Dohs all over the place.
Oh, very good.
Thanks, mate.
What's the Italian?
Huh?
Pareto? Is it
Who?
Pareto. He did the 80-20 rule.
Pareto?
Yeah. Well, Pareto is. Plato's Greek.
Yeah.
Are you distributing the plates? What's going on here? Yeah, the 80-20 rule.
Hoisted on my own petard.
Where, you know, 20% of the people break 80% of the plates. That's the rule.
Yeah. Okay.
It's Pareto distribution.
That's good.
Yeah, it's actually very, given the almost infinite amount of
Chest.
things
Yes.
that occur in history to get you to be born and where you are, it's actually really hard to work out an actual position on whether you are fortunate or when.
If my mum and dad would like to hear you speak about me like that.
What do you mean?
The infinite number of things that had to occur to bring me into the world.
Almost infinite. Yeah, because at that point in time, then it happened, and then there was actually an amount of things that happened.
Hey, you've actually heard your parents having sex, haven't you?
Oh, no. I don't
shit,
think I have.
what?
No, I used to think they had sex every night.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
But?
Yeah. No, it just turned out my mum's a really loud dreamer. So what was funny was when I was a teenager, I used to try to stay up and watch like what was it, MTV and Channel 9, right? And then because there was one TV and it was in the lounge room, and the lounge room was next to mum and dad's bedroom, I'd like listen to it like up close with the volume now, really, because I didn't want to wake them up. And then I thought, mum and dad are having sex, right? And
Doodah.
yeah. And I thought, it's pretty awkward. I'm gonna go to my bedroom, and
Jerk
then
off.
you are.
Go on.
That's awful. My mum listens to this. And then one time my dad was overseas and they were still having sex one night. And it turns out that no, my mum just dreams. Yes, you deserve that.
It's God punishing me.
Yeah. That's the spirit of my mother punishing
I'm
you.
sorry, miss.
That just turns out that she dreams and talks loud in her sleep.
Wow.
Which is great, which is equally as comforting to me as it was for my mother when I was 15 and I'm pulling my Ventolin out of my pocket in front of her and she said, thank God, I thought you had an erection for months now. And I was asking your father to talk to you about it. And he was saying, it's perfectly normal, he's a teenage boy. I was like, well, it's a fucking Ventolin. It was like, I've always got it. I know.
God damn.
Yeah. Funny.
Okay. All right. Good. I don't know why I brought that up. Oh, I know. Almost infinite number of things.
Yeah. Oh, dude, like...
I'm fairly sure my parents only had sex once.
Well, you're fairly sure they did once.
That's right.
Yeah. Not only, but at least you can say, like, well, I didn't do it once. Yeah.
No, but once. Full stop.
Well, then you are one of the world's greatest success stories.
Thanks, mate. I'm
And the
taking
fact
that
that
in
you
a different
are-
context than the way you
The fact that
intended
you
it.
are lucky to do what you do for a living, it's got nothing to do with how lucky you are to even be here.
I think it's gone well. This whole thing's gone well. We could probably go now. I am lucky to have in my possession your new album.
Oh, you've got it.
Yeah, I do got it.
Yeah, I gave it to him, so I knew he had it.
Yeah.
It's been a rough kind of 10 days, so I'd been meaning to send the discs out to everyone who pledged for the thingamajig in the last week, really. Because what was going to happen is a week ago today, we were going to have the second listening party, which we had to postpone. And so, yeah.
And then you scheduled that, and then you had to postpone that also because people couldn't make it.
Oh, well, I kind of rescheduled
many
it for,
people
and it was just like, well, then, it was...
Yeah, what's the point?
What's the point? And then it was going to be in July, and then a bunch of you guys were going to be in Greece. And I thought what I would end up doing is...
Slap it in.
What I would do is we're kind of getting some music video stuff together, and maybe we do like a music video launch night, because the album won't really be available till December online and stuff. So we've still got plenty of time to do a pre-launch party.
Cool. What's the plan with people getting access to the songs on this album?
Right. So
So just map it out for everyone
Okay.
and tell them how they can get it, because it's really important to me.
I'm still doing some planning. Basically, the idea is to backtrack from the first week of December and every fortnight back. So it takes us to about start of August, release a song every fortnight on the streaming stuff and with a bit of a video and all that kind of stuff. So we've got this kind of flow of things fortnightly until December, when then the whole thing will be able to be online. And then the idea will be first week of December, do a launch gig type thing, and just looking into vinyl at the moment. So doing a vinyl pressing of it as well. And that takes quite a few months to get ready, so which is why I need the lead up time for that. Because I think there will be enough people that I want to give it to in that six. I don't know whether I'll even charge for it. It just might be something that's kind of go, yeah, just...
I haven't listened to vinyl for ages.
Well,
I've got a pretty decent old school Technics turntable.
Oh, cool.
Like the one that the SL... Well, it's the SL 1200, but it's the original one from the 80s, which I bought secondhand from a hi-fi store in Adelaide years ago. And I brought all my vinyl back with me when I made the last road trip to Adelaide. So I've got, I don't know, $3,000-4,000 worth of Kiss bootlegs. For example.
Wow,
like
really?
Cool. Like triple album box
Yeah.
sets, things which probably cost me $120 in 1990.
All right, that's cool.
Fuck, man. But yeah, I haven't listened to any of it, of course.
Yeah.
In fact, I haven't unpacked any of the boxes
Well,
since I got back from Adelaide.
The CD cover is done in a way that I wanted it to look like a mini album, in the sense of it opens up gatefold, so to speak, and it's nice looking. So like, you can make an album out of that and just basically CD size and just blow it up, and it would look really nice.
Yeah. It would. It's a beautiful bit
But
of
it's
artwork.
also an
You
album.
and Andy have done a great job.
Like it's a 5 songs a side record. It really, really works as that. And I wasn't even thinking that we would do a vinyl kind of type thing with it until we really put it together. Like, no, this is 5 songs a side, and it totally works that way. And it's the idea of, and I do think if it were that scenario where someone could, one of 50 people who got a vinyl would sit down once or twice with it and sit down and put it on and sit down with the lyrics and take it in that way, I think that would be really nice for some people to do. And it'd be nice for me to do with some people too.
Yeah.
So,
Gee, I'm sure there are people listening to this who have no idea of what that sensation is, to buy a vinyl album, 12 inches of thought out, poured over artwork that was designed to be looked at while you listen to the thing, and a really visceral experience. And even just the sliding the record out of the thing and then sliding that out of its plastic cover and putting it on the turntable, like it's a real... I'm romanticizing it for the sake of people who have just never experienced that. Granddad, did you really listen to Wax Cylinders?
It's interesting you say that because, that was cassettes were really my
Yeah,
thing.
right.
So
Cassettes were never my thing.
well, in the sense of I was born in '77, so we had records when I was a little kid, but by the time I had access to my own music, tapes were very much like, well, you can use this without destroying it when you're 4 years old. So apparently I used to regularly destroy my dad's styluses as a little kid because I was so addicted to wanting to listen to music, and I would climb as a 2-year-old. I would climb to the top shelf of the thing because I knew where it was, and pull it down, and then break. He's like, you would have to save up for months to buy a stylus.
Yeah,
so they were
wow.
often without music for months because I would break it because I wanted to listen to it. And so by the time they were like cassettes when they were popular enough, they're like, oh great, now he's got his own music to listen to. And I only really did vinyl when I was sort of 11 or 12, and mum and dad still had all their vinyl and a record player, and then I was old enough to listen. But that, interestingly to me, that sitting down and listening to music and just the next step for me was to learn how to play. And it's interesting to me that not everyone learns how to play. Like not everybody, almost everyone really likes music. I don't understand how almost everyone doesn't learn to play. That next step of being. I mean, when I say
for a lot of people, is that singing along?
No, it's different. I think it's. I do think for me, I know what drives me to that. I have an inquisitive mind. I'm the kind of person that takes apart a CD player to see how it works and see what it looks like. And if I can't put it back together, I don't mind that I broke it. In that sense of or if something's broken, can I fix it? And so often, if it's not working, you can fix it. You can work it out. And luckily, we grew up in a time when things are so mechanical that you could super glue a CD player drawer back together or something like that. You could do something like that and fix it. Or when we were younger, you could fix a car. And I was saying to even Kat the other day, she was watching a movie, and I said, and it was based in the 60s. I said, have you ever noticed that practically any movie that was made from the sort of set in from the 50s to the 80s, where all the men, all the time, all they spend their time doing is working on the car, because mechanics are expensive and average everyday people could fix cars because they weren't computerized. They were just you could just go and get a part and fix it.
Yeah, there are things like that in movies, particularly that really date them and make them anachronistic if you try to take them out of that context.
Yeah, which is very much like we're getting back to that, pulling a record out of its sleeve and then putting it on and going, I remember I learnt Blackbird on guitar from my mum and dad's White album, from sitting in the lounge room all weekend, one weekend going take it back. And the hilarious thing about it is, I think Monday or Tuesday the following week I went into town because I lived in the country, right, and then that month's Guitar Wheel just came out and the transcription for Blackbird was in it. I was like, but I felt like I earned it, and that's that inquisitive mind and being really focused on something. So I don't know, maybe...
Is that track still playable on that record?
It's definitely nastier than the rest of the record.
Yeah, you're supposed to leave them 10 or 15 minutes before you replay the same track, kind of thing. I don't know
LP etiquette.
I was going to say the same groove. It's one groove.
Yeah.
But, how many grooves on an LP? That's one of your questions for a piece of pie.
Oh, how many grooves are on an LP?
Well, if you count both sides, 2.
Hey, very good.
See?
That's right. I once heard someone, it was, Billy Brownless, the football player.
I do know him.
Sale of the Century, Celebrity Sale of the Century. How many sides to a football? 2. Oh, no, sorry, Billy, it's 4. He goes, no, left and right. Just go up to the... all right, we're going to give that to you. Yeah. You kick it on the left side of the footy or the right side of the footy? It was yeah, okay. Anyway, so that's kind of that vibe. And the reason why, really, I've even noticed now, my old EP, I'm re-releasing each song every 2 weeks as a song, as a single. and they're kind of getting picked up a little bit in the algorithms of
Right.
Spotify.
Where have you made mention of this in the world?
I haven't. I've just seen what, because I'm trying to learn how that stuff works
Okay.
for this next
Sure.
thing, because obviously this is the thing to push forward in the next step. So, but I've noticed one of my songs I do off the last EP, I released it as a single, and in the last 4 days it's been put in the release radar in people's things, and it's gone from having like 1,000 plays to 3 and a bit thousand plays.
Fucking great.
Yeah, so that stuff really is important to that platform.
Yeah, wow, that's really cool. God, I haven't actually used Spotify to find new music for a couple of months now.
Yeah, and I find it just amazing for that.
Yeah.
And I love it for that, and I guess that's how a lot of people do use it. So,
because Spotify has that way of curating stuff based on what you usually listen to. Because I so often use Spotify at gigs.
oh yeah, it's
And then between sets at
bars or
mainstream
weddings or
pubs
something.
or weddings, absolutely. I get a lot of chill
Yeah.
in my curated for you thing, interspersed with like the new Queensryche single, the new Wasp single.
Oh,
like,
wow.
It's
Yeah,
all
okay.
chill, and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden there's a big bunch of metal.
I know this is quite funny. Some of the pubs I play at obviously use Spotify as their background music, and once or twice, I think twice even, definitely once, one of my songs has come on,
Oh wow,
because it's like that's how the algorithm works.
so cool.
And no, it was once one of my own songs, and once one of the covers that I put on in January, that came up, because and of course so many of the venues, they just basically play our cover playlist as a, like, you know, they might have their own playlist they put together as a of, you know, Crowded House and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it's quite funny when I was like, oh, it's me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny.
I remember being in a band years ago and hearing our single on the radio in Adelaide. That was fucking
Yeah,
cool.
right.
That was a cool time.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was back when radio mattered.
So yeah, well, you know, people. Well, it certainly matters a lot now, but I was reading something the other day about how the big acts have a much, even in the last sort of 18 months, have a much smaller share of the streaming service listens than they did, because now as more and more people get on board and using streaming, then they're actively going for the things that they really like. So although Drake has always been the biggest artist, and he still has a lot of like the same kind of amount of listens year on year, he has a much smaller piece of the pie that he did.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, which is really good. I think I've got no interest in complaining about, you know, how technology is making it unfair for this business or that business. Like, I mean, technology made me redundant, you know, in 2012, and now I go to the movies and go, yeah, it looks better than it ever did when I was a projectionist. And so, well, why would I argue with it? Like, and as far as like being able to find music, see, I used to have to go and spend $30 on a CD to see if I liked it. Like, and now I can check something out, and if I don't like it, I don't have to buy it. And if I do like it, I do go and buy it, because there are people who you want to support, and you want to make sure that you get their next record, or that they get to make a next record. And I think that's really, really great about the technology. And you know, using Facebook and doing the Facebook Live things that I did a lot last year, which I will do more of once, you know, life settles down again. That's so great, because I would love to be doing a gig, you know, original gig once a week, but then everyone has to come, and it's like $100-$200 night out for someone with kids to come out, and if they can just sit at home on a Monday night, then we all get to do what we want to do. So I think it's important to acknowledge what the technology gives you, as opposed to be worried about what it takes away from you.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. Do you think it's arguable, though, that the technology has resulted in people valuing music less?
No, I don't think so, because what I mean by that is, I think concert tickets have never been so high, and concert attendances have never been so high.
Is that true?
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe that's the fact that we also live in the Western world, and people have got expendable money like they've never had before, or access to credit to buy $400 concert tickets. Bloody idiots, whoever you are that do that kind of thing, right? But I don't mean that. I just it's crazy how much you can.
I'm going to see Elton John.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't think people value music less at all. I think people pay for it. They just pay for it differently. And the thing is, okay. We're,
not to be persnickety, but where are your stats on the fact that people are seeing live music more than ever? Live concerts more than ever?
All over the place.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, look, we could look it up now. You'd be able to see the live touring industry is bigger than it's ever been. And for example, concert attendance in Melbourne.
Because people are touring more because people aren't buying, because artists are touring more because people aren't buying records?
Maybe, or what's happening is people can have all kinds of whatever entertainment they want in their house, right? More than ever before, right? Access to anything, right? And so what they choose to do with their time when they go out of the house, right, is probably a lot more focused, because there needs to be a bigger point of difference from just staying at home.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So similarly, movie tickets, for example, movie tickets are more expensive than they've ever been, but people still go to the movies in droves. It's not like they don't go to the movies anymore. People go because it's they're going for the experience of going out and doing something that is different to watching Netflix on their home TV. Now, there are plenty of people who go, I never go to the movies because Netflix is so fucking good, right? But there's plenty of people who go, the reason I go is to have a different experience than Netflix. So the thing I think a lot of musician types they kind of being about it about is they assume that because they've spent a bunch of time, effort and money making something, that it has value to anybody else, right? And it doesn't have value to anyone else unless those people decide it does. So, and it's always been that way. But the thing is, before, the only way to get music before was to either listen to the radio, watch a video clip on TV, which we all know that you had to spend a fortune with payola and then to get something on TV. So that was totally curated for you as a listener anyway. So if you wanted to listen to something that was not in that platform, you had to buy it. Or you had to sit in a record shop for hours pouring through stuff, which a lot of people did, but a lot of people go, I don't have time for that, I'm just going to buy it. I'm going to buy this CD. And most people's CD collections, which is the reason why most people have thrown them away, I've got stuff that they bought once, listened to, and I don't really like it. So now I really do believe, so many people who I know have just I've got rid of all my CDs, because they actually only really listened to 5% of their collection. And that's what's great about this. It's that's an ad for you as an artist, and if it strikes the right chord with the right people, and you can get it to enough people, if you're savvy enough with social media and all that kind of stuff, if you can get it to in front of the right people and it is good, there's a really good chance that people will pick up on it. But I think there's other aspect of it now, is that people who make music think that just because they made it, it's got value. And
okay,
that's
so
not true.
What if you bring it down from touring concert acts to going to see local live music?
Yeah.
And even what we do, even cover stuff. There's fewer and fewer people who are actually going out to see live music. Surely.
I think
on
that's
a local
true.
level.
Yeah.
So what's...
I don't think that's got very much to do with music.
You don't?
No, I think that's got to do with how expensive it is to go out.
Do you really think so?
Yeah. Well, you want to buy a pint of beer.
Yeah, no, I understand.
It's 14, 15 bucks. So whoever's got 14, 15 bucks for a pint to spend, they've got to be in a certain strata of socioeconomics to be able to go and experience live music and have a good time and be around their friends. And let's say,
But a nightclub on a Saturday night at the same time as you and I are playing, a nightclub that's got a DJ is going to have more people in it than a place you and I are playing.
Yes. The other issue that you've got with that is, and this is where it comes down to demographics, is what I've noticed is the pubs are in exactly the same places they were 20 years ago, right? But the people who want to go out and live that kind of lifestyle don't live near the pubs.
Yeah.
They live near pubs that have been built 20 k's out of town, and they go to those pubs, right? But this kind of thing of, there's also that aspect of, well, look at the death of retail. Like online shopping means that shop fronts in the street, they've kind of gone, and so the things that are in the street now are little cafes and bars. So I guarantee, compared to 20 years ago, there are 3 to 4 to 5 times the amount of cafes, bars, and restaurants around.
Sure.
Right. So what happens is when you, unless you multiply the population to fill up all those cafes, bars, and restaurants and stuff, in the same amount, then they will all be full of people going out. But we haven't multiplied the amount of people, and certainly we haven't multiplied people's income to be able to go out and buy a $30 pizza. It's those kind of things that I think a lot of people are not so much thinking about when it's like, I mean, the demographics are so important to that kind of stuff. And also how people can afford to spend their money.
My experience is that so the valuing of music, I'm also talking about not just the willingness to physically pay for a product, to physically pay for a CD, go to a store and buy a CD, but I'm also talking about I feel like in days gone by there was an overwhelmingly greater chance that people in a room would recognize that a lot of work and time and effort has gone into the performance that they're watching.
Yeah.
And I felt like there was a better, an almost inherent understanding that if they were watching a really good guitarist or a really good singer, they recognized that they were seeing something that was special and wasn't necessarily just background noise or that. I feel like that's, for the most part, gone, particularly in an 18 to 25.
Oh yeah, I mean that age group. Yeah, I don't think people value music less at all. I think the stats of how,
semantics of words.
Yes. So I don't
appreciate. Is that the word I should be using?
I think people appreciate music, but at just as much. The thing is, what people think music is different. So, for example, like for that age group that you're talking about, it's Drake and Taylor Swift and stuff like that, which is not what we would consider really is, it's not Eddie Van Halen. And someone when you go, well, that's clearly someone who's got facility on that instrument, and that's really, really impressive.
Yeah.
But the other aspect that you get is with all these different entertainment options that we have that we never had 25, 30 years ago, you get attention spread across that as well. And so people still listen to and really like music in gargantuan numbers.
Sure.
It's just, what happens there too is there's just way more music available for them to listen to as well.
Yeah.
So back when we were younger, and an album like Slave to the Grind, Skid Row Slave to the Grind can go to number 1. It's a heavy metal album, right? And it can sell 2 million copies in a week because it's one of 10 heavy metal records that's going to come out that year because it's so heavily curated, because India, there's no such thing as Spotify with millions of artists. You didn't know that there were millions of artists because you opened up Hot Metal magazine or whatever it was, and it was there's 30 bands in here, right? And then next month there's the same 30 bands doing something a bit different, and then there might be, there's some new hot act from Australia, it's the Baby Animals, and when was the next big great rock act that came out? I just think that there's people's taste People can now curate the fact that basically you can get 50 people in a room and ask everyone what their favorite act is at the moment, what they're listening to, if they're listening to music, and what it is, and you could pretty much guarantee that almost all of them will say something different, and a lot of those acts you would have never have heard of. Which is, 20 years ago it was unheard of that you didn't know most of the acts that people were listening to.
Is that our age, though?
Is that our age?
The fact that we're that much older.
Well, it's just that we lived before the technology boom. We lived before you could put an MP3. We lived before the smartphone. And now that 18 to 25-year-old generation didn't live before the smartphone. I mean, well, they might have been... Well, they didn't live before the smartphone, really. So they didn't live before fast internet. When we lived through dial-up, just get it off. In American places like we say, just get it off Amazon. You can buy something. It's at your house before you get home.
Okay. I had other things to talk about today.
Oh, okay.
And we've run out of time.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to have to save them.
Great. All right. Well, let's do it next week when we can tell them about our project as well that we're going to talk about next week.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. It's been good.
I love you, mate.
Yeah, and you.
Slide of biscuits.
Let's go and do a gig.
Exciting. I wonder if anyone will listen to us and know what songs we play.
Well, I'm going to play a whole set of Drake, so...
Duck off.
Well done.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Quackers.